Season's greetings. Welcome to a special holiday edition of Dig In with Davis, a quick hit webinar series created just for Kahua users. I'm Davis Ferguson, a solutions consultant here at Kahua, and in each 20-minute session, I'll walk you through practical ways to streamline your day-to-day tasks, navigate with confidence, and explore features you may not be using yet, all to help you get even more out of the platform you already know and trust. We've got a special guest joining us today, Kevin Owsley, host of Kahua with Kevin, and a fellow solutions consultant here at Kahua. Welcome, Kevin, and thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Davis. Happy to be here and excited to dig in. Nice hat, by the way.
Today, we're counting down our top 6 Kahua updates from 2025, the enhancements that may have slipped under the radar but quickly became user favorites. In the next 20 minutes, Kevin and I will each share our top from 2025, the ones that save you time, streamline your workflows, and help you get even more out of the platform you use every day. As always, I want to remind everyone that with a configurable platform like Kahua, some customers may have unique workflows or configurations that look slightly different than what I'm showing today. But that being said, I think all of our users will find some helpful tips into this session. All right, for our first update, we're jumping into global search. Global search got a really nice set of improvements that make it faster and much easier to target exactly what you want. The first thing you're going to notice is the new project selector. Instead of choosing between domain, current partition, or personal apps, you now start with your current project selected. I can select additional projects as well. Maybe I know what I'm looking for is in a few of these projects here. I can also deselect all projects if I want to do a search across my whole portfolio or domain. All I have to do is type in a keyword or a partial keyword, press enter, and it's going to search across all of my projects. You'll notice we have 539 matches found down here at the bottom. Another great enhancement is this option right here, limit results to X number of items. This helps prevent super wide searches from returning thousands of rows and slowing you down. You'll see the total number of results found, but only the selected number will load into your grid. It defaults to 50, but I can bump this up to 250 or 500 depending on my needs. Next is the app selector. This replaces the old search all apps checkbox. So if I know a particular app I need to search in, I can select it in here. Let's press RFIs, for example. And in here, I can search across my RFIs. I can add other apps as well. One thing you'll notice is messages and tasks are no longer able to be selected in here, and that's because messages and tasks contain personal information. So if you do want to search within messages and tasks, you can do that within the native apps themselves. So with RFIs selected, I'm searching across all of my projects. I can press apply. And notice how those 500 and something matches now becomes 38 matches, making it much more easy to find what I'm looking for. Finally, when you run a search, the results itself are much cleaner. I'm going to see the correct app icon over here on the left. Over on the right is also my arrow selector, and clicking on this will take me directly into that record. So Kevin, for me, the biggest win here is just how much easier it is to target exactly what you're looking for without needing a ton of pre-filters. What's your favorite part of this update?
This just seems like it's going to make finding documents and records well after a job is over that much easier. I've been really enjoying using it.
Right. It's one of those quality of life updates that you just feel immediately. All right, Kevin, before I hand things over to you, I've got a quick UI update that's small but noticeable, especially if you work with a lot of projects. I'm going to jump over to Project Finder here. And the first thing you're going to notice is that the folder icon has been refreshed. So anytime a project has sub-projects underneath it, this updated icon now appears, and it's been redesigned to match the styling of the rest of Kahua's UI. It's a subtle change, but it gives the whole Project Finder a more modern and consistent look. The second update is this new Open button up here at the breadcrumb bar. This replaces the old Select button. So now whenever you're drilling through the hierarchy, you can click Open to jump straight into whatever project is listed in the breadcrumb. It makes navigation a little more intuitive and a lot more consistent with how the rest of the platform behaves. So nothing huge here, but I feel like these little touches really help clean up the experience. All right, this wraps up my second item. Kevin, I'm going to hand things over to you to give everyone a look at some of your favorite Kahua enhancements from this year.
Awesome. Thanks, Davis. For this next update, we're taking a look at something a lot of users are going to appreciate, a sneak peek at Kahua's new file viewer. With the 2025.4 release, anytime you open a file inside File Manager, it now launches into our new modern file viewer. You'll notice right away that performance is significantly improved. Files appear almost instantly, and it makes a huge difference when you're opening large documents or bouncing between several files throughout the day. The viewer opens in pan mode, so you can open and click and drag and move around the file immediately. And all the core tools you've used are still there. Page selection, zoom, fit page, fit width, show info, open file, and compare. They work the same way they did in the legacy viewer, so there's no learning curve. You just get a faster, cleaner viewing experience.
So that's really cool. And this is only a preview of what's to come, right?
That's right. So not every feature from the legacy viewer is available just yet, but if you run into something you need, you can switch back at any time. And your choice sticks for the rest of the session, so you can bounce back and forth based on your workflow.
Yeah, the speed really stands out. And I love that users can switch back and forth depending on what they need.
Exactly. Try the new viewer for the performance boost and fall back to legacy for anything that's not in the preview yet. All right, for this next update, we're staying inside File Manager, but looking at something that really streamlines version control and drawing comparison workflows. This enhancement is all about making it easier to open other versions and revisions of a file right from the viewer. Previously, if you needed to look at an older version of the file or switch to a different revision, you had to close the viewer, find the version in the folder list, and open it manually. It worked, but it took time. Now you can do it all directly from the viewer without leaving the file you're already looking at. With the file open, you'll notice that this new caret icon in the header. When I open it, I get a full list of every other version in this file. The version I'm currently viewing has a green dot, and the current version is clearly labeled. So instead of digging through folders, everything you need is right here. If I want to jump to another version, I just click it. The viewer immediately updates, no switching between screens, no extra navigation, and makes comparing updates or reviewing history incredibly quick. If you're in a controlled folder or the design review app, you'll also see revisions in this list.
That looks pretty helpful for anyone reviewing drawings, tracking changes, or comparing updates across versions.
Agreed. It keeps you in the viewer and puts the file's entire history just one click away.
So being able to compare your documents easily reminds me of another enhancement. We released it this year, and that's Kahua's new multi-window mode. Multi-window mode lets you open two different records at the same time, even if they're from different applications or different projects. So you can have one record open for reference while freely navigating elsewhere in Kahua. To enable it, you just click this multi-window icon right here. In the web host, it opens a read-only tab in a new browser. In the desktop host, that opens the current record in a read-only window. Either way, the secondary window or tab stays open the whole time. So if I jump back to my primary window over here at the top, I can navigate to a different project and even a different application. Say, for example, RFIs, if I want to toggle between RFIs and the drawing I was just looking at, all I have to do is jump between tabs up at the top, or I can set up kind of like a split screen mode to view both of these in the same window. So if I ever want to jump back to my original record, in the secondary window, you'll see an open button up here at the top right. One click, and in my primary window, I'm going to navigate back to that original record so I can continue working on it.
Davis, this feels like one of those features that would save me a lot of time backtracking throughout the platform.
Totally. Anytime you're comparing documents or verifying info between two places, having that second window open is a huge help. All right, that's multi-window mode. Simple, but super useful. So for our final update today, I want to highlight a brand new application in Kahua, and that's the Architects Supplemental Instructions app, or ASI app for short. I'm going to navigate to that app now. So this app gives you a streamlined way to create, sign, distribute, and even collaborate on ASIs depending on how your project team likes to work. One of the best parts of this app is that it's flexible. So through configuration settings, you can choose from 3 different operational modes depending on how formal or collaborative your ASI workflows need to be. I'm going to navigate to the configuration settings of this ASI app. And in here, you can see a couple settings I can toggle on and off. With both of these options toggled off, I've enabled logging mode. This is the simplest setup. I can create and track ASIs internally, no DocuSign, no contractor workflows. It's perfect if your team already handles signatures and distribution outside of Kahua, but still wants a clean, centralized log. Next is DocuSign mode. This mode enables digital signing. I can route an ASI out through DocuSign, get an official signature, and when it comes back, it automatically attaches itself to the record in Kahua. Distribution can still be handled manually. And then last, and what we're going to go into today, is collaborative mode. And this introduces full contractor engagement directly inside Kahua. Here's how it works. I'm going to jump back over to the ASI application and open this ASI. In here, you can see some of the fields that I've already pre-filled out. And once this ASI is completed, whether you've typed it in, attached supporting documents, or pulled in details from other Kahua apps, I can send this out using a Kahua task. So I've gone ahead, I've assigned myself as the contractor. So I press send the contractor up here. What's going to happen is this ASI will then be routed to me. I'm going to receive a task here in the system in just a couple seconds.
It's amazing how fast these tasks route through the system.
Exactly. So any moment now, this task should be appearing down here in the bottom right corner. Once it's populated, I can click on it. And I'm going to have another view of that ASI. And as a contractor, I have a couple options here. I can scroll down and I can provide a contractor status. As with many apps in Kahua, these are all configurable entries. I can press accepted, return for revisions. I have a few options in here, but for this example, let's go ahead. We'll press accepted. I can provide any notes. Once I've added my notes up at the top, I can acknowledge receipt of this ASI. So I'm going to press this. If I go back to the original ASI, open it up, I can see that the status has changed now to receipt acknowledged, and then my contractor status and contractor notes have been applied as well. Like with all of our apps, I can view this in a portable view. And what this app does is it turns ASIs into a true two-way communication loop, instead of just a document that I send and I hope gets acknowledged. So I can track confirmations, I can see responses in real time, and I can maintain a complete audit trail all without leaving Kahua.
I always like to see Kahua adding new apps to help assist with complex construction processes.
Exactly. This is going to help keep everything in one place and make the whole exchange way more efficient.
All right. I know you said we were only going to share 6 of our favorite release items, but I have one bonus release, and it's hot off the press. Mind if I share?
Go for it.
Kahua is previewing a new permissions experience for domains created in development environments after November 14th, 2025. This isn't in production yet, and it won't appear in older dev domains just yet, but if you're working in a newer sandbox, you can try it out. Group membership is how users get access to partitions and projects. With this update, administrators get much more control over how much access flows through the project hierarchy, whether permissions cascade downward or stay tightly scoped. You can now set group membership using 3 simple, explicit options. Include this level at child levels. This grants access here and everywhere below. Include this level only. Access stops right here at this level and does not flow down, or exclude this level and child levels, which would remove access at this point in the hierarchy, even if the user has access from higher up. Eventually, all domains will be migrated to this new group membership model, giving you much more precision and making it easier to model complex project structures. All right, that's the bonus update, Davis. Thanks for having me. Always a blast. Hope you have a great holiday season.
Thanks, Kevin. Appreciate you joining me and walking us through these updates. Let's do this again sometime. All right, with the time we have left, let's dive into some Q&A from today's session. We will answer as many questions as we can. For those we don't get to, someone from our team will follow up afterwards. All right, first question is global search just searching for the name of the document, or does it find keywords that are in a document as well? So global search will look for the name of the document, but also will search within the contents of the document. So I looked up the word foundation, but it's going to find a document if the title of the document is foundation. Let's say the word foundation is used on page 150 of a geotechnical report or something like that. It's going to locate every iteration of that word within the document as well. Can we compare two versions directly from the list without jumping back to the folder view? So in File Manager, I can compare two versions against each other in a couple ways. We have that compare feature, which allows me to overlay different versions or revisions so I can see any changes between the two documents. I can also compare similar sheets in the same revision. So if I wanted to do like an overlay, I could do that. I could also use that multi-window view that we showcased and have two different versions and two different tabs. I have the latest release, but I'm not seeing the new permission structure. So just a reminder on that new permission structure, like we mentioned, it's only going to apply to new domains currently. The plan is very soon, we're going to roll that new permission structure out to existing domains as well. So if you're not seeing it currently, stay tuned. Everyone should be switched over to that new permissioning very soon. Switching to my legacy viewer affect anyone else on my project, or is it just for my own session? So switching your viewer is only going to affect your own personal profile in Kahua. So no one else should be affected by any changes you make. If you do log back into Kahua, though, it's going to remember the change you made. So it should default to the last viewer you were using. Does the ASI task sent to contractors require them to have a full Kahua license? Currently, they don't need a Kahua license to respond to that task, but they do need a profile in Kahua. What should we be watching out for in 2026? Yeah, so we do have some exciting things coming next year. I'm not going to be able to go in depth on those today, but stay tuned. Next week, I'm sitting down with our head of product. And the plan is to record a real quick session about what's to come for next year. We have a lot of exciting things for 2026. The new file viewer is fast, but it is not as clear for viewing as the legacy viewer. Is this to be expected? Yeah, so right now that new viewer is just a preview. The plan is to, when we fully roll it out, it should exceed the legacy viewer in every way. So stay tuned. If it's not clear now, it'll hopefully be much better in the near future. Is it possible to create subtasks off a task? So a couple things here. I can always delegate a task. So maybe something has been sent to me and I need someone else to review it or do something like that to that task rather than me providing my own input. I can always delegate that task to another user. You also may be interested in checking out the action items application. In there, I can create kind of like a parent task, and underneath it have individual tasks to assign to different users. So take a look at that if you haven't already. Perhaps they might give you the capabilities you're looking for. Seeing a lot of comments about the outfits and you guys liking them, so that's great. How do the contractors submit their solicitation questions and how do we respond? I'm unsure if this is referencing the ASI app or perhaps the bid solicitations application that we have. Bid management could be something we dive into at another session. I'm happy to go into that later, but that should all be handled in the bid management application. If not there, we have a bid room application, which is going to be specific to your company where you can see all your outstanding proposals that have been provided. Is Kahua working on viewing 3D models? So we actually do have 3D model viewing capabilities currently within the file manager. Depending on the file types, take a look at our support website. Actually, there's a list of supported file types. But currently I can upload like a Revit model or a CAD file, and I can view that directly in the file manager. A little distinction there that applies to just our commercial network. If you're on the Kahua government network, that 3D model viewing capability is limited now, but that's going to be changing soon, hopefully. So keep an eye out if you're asking specifically about the Kahua government network. right. I think that's it for questions. I'll stick around for a few more seconds if anybody has any more, but I appreciate all the good questions and the comments. All right. So that wraps up questions. Before we go, I wanted to share a couple of quick announcements to keep you up to date on the happenings, enhancements, and more around Kahua. First, we have launched a new customer training experience for customers and our partners. We're releasing and updating courses regularly here. So we've released a doc management course, and we'll have a new course soon to help new users get started on the platform, including items like Project Finder, navigation, working with key applications, and more. You can find the links in the resources section to access. Second, we'd love for you to leave us a review on Capterra or G2, letting others in the industry know about your experience with Kahua. You'll get a $25 Amazon gift card for each review left, so that's $50 in total. Access those listings within the console as well. So with that, we'll wrap things up. Thank you again for joining Digging In with Davis, and we're wishing everyone here a happy holiday season and New Year.